Good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely to be part of the Luminary programme today and to have the opportunity to share the Smart Work story and tell you a bit more about how we support women in need into employment. Plus, I'll also share some of the things that I've learned from my experience of working with Smart Works Greater Manchester about confidence building, and that comes from supporting some women who arrive with us with absolutely no self-belief whatsoever. So I'm Jane Nugent and I'm a board trustee at Smart Works Greater Manchester, and I'm also an interview coach with them. So a bit of background on Smart Works, as some of you may know, have heard of the charity, and for others it might be something that's completely new to you. So we're a national charity. We operate from 8 locations across the country, which you can see here on our slide. And we work to support women in need and women who are regarded as vulnerable, to give them the clothes and the confidence to help them succeed in interview and get that job that can very often transform their lives. As you can see here, we've got some stats for 2019 to 2020. And in that time, across all of our bases in the UK, we supported nearly 4,000 women, 65% of whom went on to get a job within a month of coming to visit us and the support that we provided with them. And that's despite 43% of those women having been unemployed for over a year, and 46% of them having applied for more than 20 jobs. So these are not women who have been, not trying to get into the world of work, but something's been stopping them succeeding and really taking themselves forward. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how we support them and the very simple intervention that we put in place, which does actually seem to have a remarkable impact. So as I mentioned, I'm involved particularly with the Smart Works base in Greater Manchester. We were the second one set up outside London. So we've been going now for, it'll be 6 years this year. And over that time, we have supported very many women of all ages and getting them again into that environment where they can get the confidence to go out and get that job. So you can see some of the stats here. They are slightly different because obviously we've got our own region and our own mix of clients that come to us. Compared to the national average, more of our women have been unemployed for long term, and more of them are lone parents and consider themselves to have a disability. So, there's lots of reasons why they may not have been in the world of work previously, or have found it difficult when they've started to try to get a job, or they've been made redundant, or something's happened in their lives that's made it really difficult for them to get back into the world of work. So as well as women, we support people who self-identify as women as well. And we're not, one of our critical things about our service is that we are not judgmental. Everybody is welcome and everybody gets treated with care, and so they're special. That's the really thing about it, and I think that's all come across, I think, when I talk to you a little bit more about what we do and how the whole process works. We work across the whole of the Greater Manchester area, in fact in the north and west as well. We have clients supporting from Liverpool, Cheshire, etc. And how we operate is that we work with what we call referral partners, and these are organisations who are working with women in need or vulnerable women, and you can see on there the type of organisations they are. Everybody from, a lot of our referrals come from job centres, but also housing associations, care leaver charities, domestic abuse charities. And we also have a really great link with the Clink charity, which supports women coming through Style Prison. If you've ever had the chance to go to the Clink when it reopens, I'm not sure it's open at the moment, it might well be now. They have a great restaurant that they run at Style Prison. All the work's done by the women, and it gives them training and skills to go out into get work when they finish their sentences, and we work very closely with them, supporting the women and helping them through that. One of the criteria that we have is that women need an interview lined up, because then we're talking about something quite specific. So once they've got that interview, they will get referred to us. We set up an appointment, and traditionally they've come into our base in Stockport. Obviously, because of the circumstances over the last year, we've been doing much more remote interviews, and even remote dressings as well. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that shortly. So what is it that we do, and why is it so powerful in something that is really simple? So once the women come into us, we're doing it virtually, but let's for now imagine that they'd come into our base in Stockport, and they get greeted and welcomed, and we have a little chat with them first about how they feel and what sort of clothes they like to wear and the colours they like, and things that make them feel comfortable. And then they spend an hour with our volunteer stylists. And so when they've had that initial chat with them, they'll pick out a whole range of clothes, put them on the rail, and invite them over and talk them through the outfits, try things on. And it's a complete outfit, so we're looking like a top and trousers, or a suit, or a dress, shoes, jewelry, a coat if needed, a handbag, everything that they need. So, and they'll try on different outfits and choose the one that really makes them feel comfortable. This is not about us imposing anything on them. So if some people want to wear a suit, some people want to have something that's much more casual, depending on how their personal preferences are. But often we'll find that women will choose something that they would not have necessarily have chosen for themselves. So I think it's that bit of someone looking who's got great skill of something that really is going to bring that person to life a bit, give them that confidence, make them feel really great. So so everything in their outfit is theirs to keep. They take it away with them, package up nicely, put them in a nice bag, and then they come to spend some time with someone like me, who is a volunteer interview coach. And they have another hour of talking about themselves, but about the job that they're going for, etc. And then if they're successful in getting an interview, they can come back and for a second dressing, and we give them a range of outfits to keep them going until they get paid. Sometimes we literally have people coming to us and they've only got the clothes of 2 or 3 outfits. They haven't got enough to go to work with, and that causes them a source of anxiety. So we make sure that anxiety is taken away. So when they go and start their job, they can do so confident that they don't need to worry about wearing the same clothes every day. And our clothes are donated to us by retailers, end of line, or things that they want to do as part of their CSR agendas. And we also get lots of things donated by individuals too. But our criteria is it's got to be high quality. It's got to look as good as new. It's got to be stuff that we would be prepared to wear if someone gave it to us. And I think that's a really important part, that it's not people are given clothes that make them feel great, and they can wear for a long time going forward. So it's a really simple 2 hours of time, but the transformation that happens in that time is quite remarkable. You'll meet a woman when they first arrive. They've got no self-confidence and no self-belief. They've taken a huge amount of energy and confidence and courage just to turn up, and they leave looking like a different person, really. And I think it's the sort of care and that's put into them by our volunteers who support them. And here I've just got a whole selection of all the types of women that we support and the range of outfits that they've chosen. So everything from a formal suit to something more casual, whatever it is that suits their particular need. And then when we've been doing the virtual dressings, we've been choosing outfits with them virtually, over like a Zoom call, then packaging them up and sending them out to people so that they've still, even if they're doing a Zoom interview as well, they've got something that really makes them feel great when they join that meeting. And it's just that bit. So a couple of things I've had comments back from talking to some of the women is that sometimes they've said no one's ever spent 2 hours just completely devoted to me. And that's quite a sad thing, I think, to hear, but the fact that someone is prepared to do that and do it with care and attention just boosts their confidence in a way that perhaps a normal bit of interview practice might not. It's just talking about them really, and they are the complete focus of attention. So I've got here a little example of one of the people who came to see us, Hazel, and she'd been unemployed for 4 years, and then she was very successful. She came to see us to get a customer service role. This is what she chose to wear for her interview, and you can see the quote that she's put there. It's been a wonderful experience. The team put together an outfit I would not have picked for myself, but I was happy as I looked myself, and I felt really confident, beautiful, and more determined than ever. An absolutely fabulous team. You literally put smart and relevant back into my step. You see 97% of people, women who left us, said they were much more confident they would succeed. And that's, a great thing to have that confidence there and take that with you. And sometimes when I'm spending my hour with the women, we don't really do a huge amount of interview practice. I often just end up focusing on that one question, which is almost a shoo-in if you ever go to an interview of any sort, which is always the first question is, tell me a bit about yourself. And I've said, let's just practice that, because if you can nail that first question and do it with confidence, the rest of the interview will just flow on from there. But if you stumble and feel that you're struggling with the first bit, everything else then feels really difficult thereafter. So that's what we've often focused on. And when I've asked people that, people just sit silently, can't think of anything to say. Some people have started crying because they just feel there's nothing positive that they can think of to say. But we always work through stuff and find things, and we jot down, and I just say, go home and practice that so you can say it without even thinking. And then that when you go in there, you can tackle that first question with confidence, and the impact that has on you is phenomenal, because you are much more likely to succeed with any other question that they throw at you after that. We've also recently launched a young women's program. We particularly with the pandemic has had a massive impact on young women, in particular in terms of employment. A lot of the sectors that they would traditionally have maybe gone into in terms of retail and hospitality have really just shut down in lots of areas. So we've launched a program presenting it slightly differently for people between sort of 16 and 24. And we've also been working with some of our retailers to find clothes that will be more appropriate for them. They don't necessarily want to go out in something that someone older would be prepared to wear. So we've got to make sure it's not just the experience, but we've actually got clothes that people will feel is a fit for them. So it's a slightly different angle, but one that we know will grow, and we do know there's a much more of a demand needed there going forward. So how do we do all this fantastic work? Well, it's we have 1.5 staff basically. We have our business manager Victoria and a part-time coordinator, and they run the service on a day-to-day basis and liaise with the referrers and organise the sessions with the women that we support and follow all of that up. And they do a fantastic job and phenomenally busy. And everything else that's done by SmartWorks Greater Manchester and across the SmartWorks network is done by volunteers. So we have our volunteer stylists, interview coaches, like me. We also have people who are wardrobe assistants who sort through all the clothes and donations that we've got, make sure they're all looking great and they're all on the rails in colours and sizes. We also have other supporters who work with us as outreach. They might go out and present or talk to groups that we're interested in, and they also have other people who will work to develop some of our corporate relationships and help us make sure that we're securing the funding that we need. And our volunteers are absolutely fantastic. We've had people who've been with us for the time since we've been in existence, and we couldn't manage it without them. And the feedback that we get from them is really great too. They know that they're doing a good job, and they get the real buzz from seeing that they can help transform the women that they're working with, again with this very simple intervention. So it's a great sort of symbiotic situation, really. Everybody gets something out of it. We are quite choosy about our volunteers because they have to be able to work to our values, not being judgmental of making sure we keep people safe and secure and make them feel really well. So, not everybody makes it through the selection process, but we are always across the whole network very welcome of anybody who wants to get involved and support us in any way, shape or form, because without our volunteers we can't run the service that we do. And then finally, I just wanted to let you know a bit about we're a charity. Charity's having a really tough time over the last 18 months or so. With all the closures, a lot of the fundraising channels that people have traditionally used have just disappeared. And that for us, we used to do lots of events, etc., but they've all stopped. So our big fundraiser for this year was our cycle, which we have annually. We encourage people to get together in teams of 5 and take on the challenge of covering 500 miles between them in the week running up to International Women's Day. So I did it again for the 4th time this year with my team of fellow Manchester movers, we're called. And 2 people were out on the road bikes. I was on my spin bike in my dining room, and 2 of the other people of our team of 5 didn't have any bikes or anything else, so they walked. They set themselves a challenge of walking 100 miles in a week, which is quite hard to do when you've got to go to work as well. So we had a great time of posting pictures and keeping ourselves going. But we raised a lot of money through that. So if anybody's interested in next year, always welcome teams to come. We know it costs us about £2,000 a week to keep the charity going. That's for salaries and premises and insurances, all the things that we do. As I say, everything else is provided by our volunteers, but we still have overheads. And we, the fantastic support that we got from Cycle this year has allowed us to keep going. We know we're fine for the next year, which I say in a time when it's been really hard to fundraise for lots of charities is a fantastic situation to be in. So if anybody is watching this was involved in that, thank you very much. We appreciate your support. So I just wanted to conclude with sharing with you some of the things that I've learned about confidence building from my time with SmartWorks, and things that I also apply in my own life, and some of the tips that could be useful to you in whatever situation. It's not just about interviews. There's lots of circumstances when you suddenly might feel your confidence is not quite where it's want to be, and there's simple things that you can do and incorporate into your life and take with you wherever you think you need a bit of a boost. So self-belief is absolutely, definitely a superpower, and I think the work that we do at SmartWorks and the women that we support, who often, as I say, come with absolutely no self-belief or self-confidence at all, who can then go on and succeed in an interview and secure a job when they have struggled to do that for a very long time up till that point. And I think it's just because we encourage them and give them the tools in order to believe in themselves that they can succeed. So that's what confidence is. It's that belief that you can successfully do a particular thing, whatever that thing is. And once you believe that you can do something, it lifts your mood, it lowers your anxiety, and that in turn increases your confidence. And when your confidence is high, your performance improves, and it just then becomes a virtual circle. And I'm sure this is stuff that you all recognize from your own experience, that, when you're feeling great and you're really feeling that you're in a great place, everything just becomes much more easy to do. That anxiety, you haven't got that anxiety that might niggle away at you normally. So great, sounds easy to do, but a couple of things that you might find helpful and things I do myself as well. So these are both things I use in work or in life circumstances when I feel I just need to give myself a bit of a boost along the way. And there'll be things that you know about, but it's always good just to be reminded of them. So create yourself a mantra. The words that you say to shape your confidence and therefore your performance. Doesn't have to be anything complicated. So something that I often just say to myself, when I'm, might be going into a meeting or about to kick off a workshop or do something or make that phone call that I've been putting off, and I'll say, I'm a strong, confident and capable woman. I've got this. Doesn't sound like very much, but I don't say it once, I say it a few times, and the more you say it, the more it becomes real. So decide what that little mantra might be for you. It doesn't have to be, say, anything big or grand, and sometimes I'll change the words because of something, but it's always along that same theme. It's just reminding myself that I am capable and I'm confident and I've got this. And I just say it to myself a few times over and over and over, and it has that cumulative effect. And then the final thing is, which you may have heard of a woman called Amy Cuddy, who did some research about the sort of how your physical stance can actually also affect your mental state. So if you will bear with me and indulge me with this, I know you'll have been sitting down watching the webinar, but if you could all just stand up and adopt this Wonder Woman stance. So you stand up, you put your feet apart, you put your hands on your hip, and you stand up straight and you look straight forward, and you make it a strong stance. So it's a solid stance. And I think if you do that, and if you hold that position for 2 minutes and you do your mantra at the same time, not only does it, by physically adopting a strong stance, it reinforces the things that you're telling yourself in your head. So the physical and the messaging that you're repeating yourself has an even bigger impact. So if you're ever going into an interview or before a meeting or something, I normally make sure I head to the toilet, stand in the cubicle for a couple of minutes, just doing my Wonder Woman stance, muttering to myself. Hopefully there's nobody in the next cubicle next door wondering what I'm doing and why I'm in there so long. But you come out feeling energized and confident, and just a couple of little things that you might be able to take into your world somewhere along the way. Adapt them, see how it works for you. So anyway, thank you so much for your time. I hope you found it informative. And I think that critical thing that we say to the women that we support at SmartWorks, and I'll say to you to believe in yourself. You're fantastic. You've got talents and confidence and things that and there's nothing to stop you. Believe in yourself. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the program.